let's start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Conversation with Eminent Personalities in the field of art and cinema as a prelude to the second edition of Nila International Folklore Film Festival. NIFI is extremely delighted to welcome Mr. G. Venu, who has spent about more than 5 decades, even about 6 decades of untiring work as an actor, director, and practitioner of the oldest performing Sanskrit theatre form of Kudiyattam. In addition to this, or rather simultaneously, he has been instrumental in reviving several near extinct ancient traditional folk art forms like Tulpavakuta, that is the string puppetry, then Pava Kathakali, that is the glove puppetry, then Mudiyata is the ritualistic art form, and Kakarashi Nadaka. That's also another folk performance art form. And Mr. G. Venu also has to his credit the protection of Sanskrit plays of the great poet Kalidasa's Abhijnana Shakuntalam and Vikramorvashiyam in the Kudiyattam style. Venuji has also very painstakingly done immense research in several of these art forms. And also, he has to his credit publication of more than 15 books on various art forms. And NIFI is indeed privileged to have you with us and agreeing to share your insights and vast experience despite your hectic schedule. So thank you, Mr. Venu. Thanks indeed. And listeners are welcome to ask questions in the comment section. If you have got any particular questions to be asked to Mr. Venu, for which we will request Venuji to give answers.
Thank you so much, Shri Vijayan.
Yeah, thank you.
Old friend.
Yes, our association lasts for about 4 decades, if not more.
And the Wiley group, whom I know very well. And I'm very happy to participate in this occasion. And I'm also happy that you are conducting this film festival, which is mainly documentations of folk knowledge and folk arts and so many things. So that is very interesting. Thank you.
Yes. And so before we start our conversation, I think we should pay our rich tributes to the memory of the great legend of Kudiyattam, Padma Bhushan Guru Amanur Madhavacharya. Definitely, I think that's the person whom we always should remember before we venture out anything related to Kudiyattam. And perhaps the answer to a possible question of mine as to how you got introduced into the Sanskrit theatre form of Kudiyattam, which incidentally, as most of you know, has been recognized as by the UNESCO as the oral and intangible heritage of mankind by UNESCO. And what prompted you to dedicate yourself to this, to Kudiyattam, as also many other art forms? And it may be because of the great influence of this maestro. So please, you can share.
Actually, I started my entering into the world of performing arts as a student of Kathakali. I started learning at the age of 11. Then I joined the great Guru Gopinath, who was both Kathakali master and also a creative dancer. So I was with him for about 5 years. He is very creative. When he used to teach myself a special class every day, It used to be different from the usual Chediatams. He used to, somehow he come to know that I have some talent in certain aspects. So he used to elaborate all aspects of mudras. So that really influenced my artistic life, and I started thinking of documenting the hand gestures of Kathakali. I evolved a notation system and I went to different gurus. That is really eye-opening. Because when you meet somebody, a great guru, you really get highly inspired with their own life experience and their opinions about art. Then during that period, one day I came to, I knew about that Kuriatam, an art form which is very ancient and it exists with very few artists. I have seen some of the performances, but I was not impressed. One day in 1976, I happened to see the great Amanur Madhavacharya at the Trishur Kuttambalam. I was so fascinated because it is so different from what I have seen. Because I have, by that age, I have already seen great Bala Saraswati, great Shambhu Maharaj of Kathak, and all the great masters of India, because I had several opportunities to travel in northern part of India. But Amanur's Abhinaya was different. Something extraordinary. I have not seen in any other Kuriatam performer that kind of a power of acting. So I thought that by the time I was already engaged in so many things, but I thought that I must leave everything and dedicate my further of my life in learning whatever little bit I can from this master. In those days, especially Madhvacharyas were very orthodox. Well, Madhvacharya is no exception. They are not supposed to teach anybody from outside their community and the family and so many problems. So I never asked him to teach me. Rather, I started helping him because that was a very hard time for him. So with all my sources, I started helping and I started promoting. So after 2-3 years of work, when we were coming after his Padma Shri honor, you see, every time, whenever I become so close to him that I used to travel with him. Then he was very happy. He understood that my ultimate wish is to learn Kuriatam. Then he said, now you can learn Kuriatam. Then I asked him, will you teach me? He said, yes, of course, I teach you. I made him repeat this. Next day I resigned my job. I was having a job. School of Drama of Calicut University. I resigned and came to Amanur Chakyar family. That is my beginning of Kuriatam career. So that is my reason why I came to Kuriatam.
Yes, perhaps I would rate this particular intervention of you as the most one of the most valuable thing, because otherwise a great legend like Amanur, he must have purely confined to the temple precincts inside the Kuttambalams. But because of your persuasion, or rather your active involvement and enabling him to be seen to the outside world, that was really a master stroke of yours, so to say, because that's how the entire world and then the entire nation could watch that maestro's innumerable performances, me included, because I had to spend a lot of time, about 4 decades outside the state of Kerala. So that way we are really indebted to you. And so could you, just throw some light whether he was not inclined, or you had to persuade or force him rather? Could you throw some light onto that aspect?
Actually, he was not aware of his own value. when I witnessed the first performance, which for me, of Madhachakya as Ravana last day, Karunayuddham, it is hypnotizing effect because of his powerful eye and the breath, which I have not seen anywhere else. And at that time, he was known as Irinyalakuda Madhachakya. So when I started working with him, I had a clear program I made, how step by step I can influence him. So first thing I did was changing his name. I told him that your uncle and guru, Amanur, he was Amanur Chachuchakya. Why you wanted to know as only Iringalakula? Iringalakula is, of course, his birthplace, but Amanur is a long tradition. Then I changed his letterhead and everything. I made it Amanur Madhachakya. Then I influenced him to come into some of the major functions of Kerala's this thing. I forced him rather, he was not willing. And he was not willing to travel any other state of India. The first visit to Delhi, when he get down at the Nizamuddin railway station, he was crying. He was doubtful whether he is committing a sin after crossing this border of his own state. And he was also very like a child, he's very much homesick. He don't want to be away from his mother was very affectionate. Every time when he go out, he go and ask her, say goodbye to her, and in tears, and like a very special. But in Delhi, he was highly appreciated. I don't know whether Vijayan was at that time there. Demonstration at the Triveni Kalasala, specially arranged for. He came actually to receive the award. And that demonstration actually made him very, very reputed and famous. And everybody agreed. Kapila Vasan, Usha Malik, and all these people were there to see this demonstration. Kamala Devi was over there. So she only helped me in organizing this. So in one performance, he became very famous. Then so many invitations came to the Festival of India in Paris and London and so many things. Then thereafter, there was no problem and he agreed. Then one day he told, he can't teach me. So we started a Gurukulam, Amanur Chachuchakya Smara Gurukulam. And where several talents are trained.
Yes. So when it comes to Amanur, I think we can go on and on and on, but we have got our own constraints of time. So maybe again remember that Maestro with our fond memories. And so let's move on to the other aspects. Of course, you have done immense research in the art forms of Kuriyatam, Mohiniyattam, and other art forms. And as also another important thing that you have prepared in detail about more than 2,000 notations for the mudras or hand gestures used in these art forms. Actually, what prompted you to undertake such an uphill, but which is a very crucial task?
Actually, I'm not, according to this so-called present system, I'm not a qualified person to do research. You should have this basic education and this, and you should have a guide and all sort of misunderstanding. For me, I thought it is my study. I want to know about this, so I will go on working on it. So actually the first attempt was to notate the whole hand gestures of Kathakali. So from Guru Gopinath, Kirikal to Shankarapillai, then I went to Guru Changanur Ramapillai, and we had a wonderful connection with Changanur. So wonderful person. Then I met Kanavalangan Krishna, so many, almost all the great exponents of Kathakali I met and collected hand gestures. That was a very different approach. It's not, I don't want to follow, some scholar has written a book on Kathakali. So they say Hastalakshana is the basic treatise of Kathakali. That kind of things I never followed. I ask each masters, what is your opinion? So Changanur Ramballi, for example, he said, Hastalakshana Deepa I never heard. We are using my Ashan, Mathur Kunjapulle Panikar and all these people. They say about a Karadipika, which is quite different from Hastalakshana Deepika. So, like that, several different opinions came, and I followed them, not actually what is written by other people. So it was a free journey. When my documentation of Kathakali Mudras came into around 800 hand gestures, then I thought I was very egoistic. I thought that I must notate all the forms of India. So next I went to Mohiniyattam with my wife. At the time we married because of this only. And Nirmala did a lot of field work, and together we did Mohiniyattam. It took 4 years. Kathakali took 8 years. Then when I came, part of my purpose was coming to Amanur was to notate Kudiyattam hand gestures. So before that I have read in some of the books that Kudiyattam, Hastalakshana Deepika is a treatise of Kudiyattam. But after started working with Guru Amanur, then only I come to know it is not. It is a great Ramayana Samkshepam, the story of Ramayana narration in Kudiyattam, which takes, if you demonstrate daily, about 1 or 2 hours, it takes 6-7 days to complete. It's a great treasure of Mudra. They don't have the names of basic gestures. They don't accept Hastalakshana Deepika. So the storytelling method is the authentic Kudiyattam learning of hand gestures. So I notated the whole thing. Notating is not at all easy. First of all, you have to study practically. Then you have to make rough notes. Then you yourself have to do and analyze the movements. Then again you have to go to the master and see that everything is recorded properly. So many people ask me, why you are putting that much trouble? Notation, you cannot make film, video. Those days no video. But I don't believe in documenting an individual artist. In a film or a video, you can document an individual artist, not a technique. Technique is always beyond any individual, any great artist, even Kalamandan Krishnar or Gurujangan or technique is much beyond the capacity of an individual. One should always try to reach the highest level of the techniques. For that, you have to give a very abstract touch of the technique. You give always scope to improvise. So that's why I avoid notation. Not that just I made a notation. There is a clear concept about it. So about 2000 hand gestures, but I would have done much more. No encouragement from anywhere. I had to find resources to travel and my own this and some dakshina to the gurus. It was a very big challenge. Somehow I completed Kathakali, Mohiniyattam and Kudiyattam and stopped. Now I cannot notate because it is very much health consuming. I left that. Of course, I'm publishing a huge volume of collection of all so far what I have done.
In fact, the Ramayana Samkshepam, I think that can be treated as a magnum opus, so to say, because besides chronicling or drawing the notations, you have digitalized them also, because you have been explaining with practically how to show different hand gestures, what each hand gestures convey or what do they mean. So it's in a DVD format, which is really for laymen to get into it or to get to know this intricate or the complex theatre form of Kudiyattam more. I mean, it will ultimately result in endearing this particular art form more to common people, I think.
I'm also very happy that I could notate the whole Ramana Samshaya. Those days, when I came to Kudiyatam in 1982, seriously learning, 76 to 82 period, it took so many years to get a consent from my guru. I can also learn. By the time he has developed another culture. So then in 82 only I started learning myself seriously. Before that I made so many others learn. But I never had asked him. I want him to say. Then every day from 7 to 9 it is for me alone. He used to explain everything about Ramana Samshaya. 4 years I practiced. Together with, one day he said, some of the eye movements are so wonderful. And he said, this is, I got it from Kodungalur. I knew that in Kodungalur there was all this actor training system established in those days. That was an introduction to Kodungalur tradition of Abhinaya. So together I went with my Guruji to Kodungalur and I made my own study. That is also part of my very serious artistic career and I continued that study. So interesting. So interesting.
Okay, so now I think let us move slightly away from this ritualistic art form of Kudiyatam to the other folk-oriented things, of which you were very much involved, and you were excelled in the resurrection, preservation, and propagation of some of the near extinct or dying art forms, like especially art forms like Tulpava Kuthu or the leather puppetry of Kerala, or the Pava Kathakali, that is the glove puppetry. And so could you share your experiences, how you happen to be involved in that, and what is the possible outcome, or how things stand as of now?
From the beginning, from the time I started learning Kathakali, I used to look around. What else happening in this world of mine? So I saw Kakarashi Nadagam there and so many things. I was so fascinated also with that. But I was more and more busy with learning Kathakali. But when I grew, more experience, I started really enjoying and looking and appreciating. And whenever the artist, in India, there is not that much care for the preservation of art. So whenever the artists say, now we don't have students, we don't have enough resources to maintain the artist, and all these problems, I get involved. That's what I came into Tolpavakuthu. When I went to Tolpavakuthu, family, Krishnamurti Pulavar was at that time. That was also in 1982. No, 1979, yes. And he was also saying that once it was great glory and now nobody care and no money and no performer, no student is interested. Then immediately what I did was I used all my influence. Those days I was highly influential. Kamala Devi Chattopadhyaya, Kapila Vasen, and all these people listen to me, even though they don't help me for my project. That is another story. But they are ready to help whoever I recommend. So some financial assistance given to Pulavar for starting a training program. So all this present younger generation is trained under that scheme. This Ramachandra Pulavar, Vishwanathan, Lakshmanan, Ramaswamy, and all these people are trained in that. The training center was established in Pulavar's house and scholarship given from the Sangeetnada Academy at that time. So it went on for many years. Same way Mudiyattu. I have seen Mudiyattu, I think 1976, first time when the World Malayalam Conference was happening. And I was greatly impressed with the master of the troupe, Padur Kunyammara. I had a long dialogue. Then I went and visited him. And I thought that there had been so much of encouragement. The same kind of program, training program started there. So many young people trained also in Mudiyattu and also Padeni. And then came Pavakathakali. Pavakathakali was actually brought to me by Kamaladevi Chattopadhyay. She happened to see two puppets in the Thrissur Museum. And he wanted it should be rejuvenated. She saw the future of the art form. She is so great lady and a great visionary. And in her life, she has seen so many things. So she requested me, why don't you take the responsibility of rejuvenating this form? And I said I was already having so many headaches in my, so many programs going on and without any remuneration. Nobody pay me. So I said, Amma, it is difficult because I cannot survive by handling all this. Anyway, I went and did a long survey with the help of my brother, Devi. We collected so many old puppets and we had a long dialogue with the artist and we started a training program. That's a way the Pavakathakali was brought up. All these things, when you have great enthusiasm, when you have sincere wish, things come to you and you forget about everything, you jump into it. And you really get into problems because, when once you are taking an art form, most of them are very poor. You cannot just deal with the art alone. You have to, when you get close to the individuals, you have to deal with their problems in the family and so many things. So this is my life. I just want to say one thing, because even now we have not categorized our art forms properly. When you say very casually ritual, actually this kind of calling an art as a ritual came from foreigners only. Ritual in the sense of anushtanam. Anushtanam is different and kala is different. Kala is art. That we have to understand clearly. Kudiyattam is not a ritual. It is not an anushtanam. Because when there is a stage, when there are audience sitting, where there is rasanubhuti, people enjoy an art form, then it is art only. It is not anushtanam. Kudiyattam is purely 100% art form. Because first of all, it is based on very authentic and plays written by a very reputed. Our Bhasa can be considered to be the pioneer playwright of the world theatre. We do not know yet his date exactly. We know that only he is prior to Kalidasa's period. Actually, when it is established, we can claim that he is the father of world theatre, the playwriting of world theatre. Because Greek plays, of course, the most ancient, but they are all collected from oral tradition actually, very recently. But Bhasa's work is just, it was available in family, written authentically, and it was collected from the Kudiyattam family. 13 plays of Bhasa. And so it is based on the text. No other interpretation is there, but it is for artistic development. Of those days concept. Never done for the anushtanam purpose. Even if you take the plays, Bali Vatham, which is performed in the temple, Balibhadan, Shurpanangam, to Dhananjayam, Subhadra Dhananjayam, Tavadi Sambaranam. And this Atvaranai Dvasa. 5 plays are regularly performed. None of them are propagating the religious bhakti or anything. Balibhadan, it is questioning Rama, one of the greatest crime he committed. Shurpanangam is also same. Then the other 2 Kulashekara plays are Sringaram based. And then Dwaranai also Ravana is glorified. So how can it be supposed to be? It is theatre. These people are enjoying, so it is done. And Kutambala also, there is stage, there is space for audience. And very scientifically it is based on aesthetic concept, Indian concept of rasa. So it is not at all a ritual. When foreigners say, we also started saying that. Ritual is Theyyam. Nobody will go to see Theyyam as an entertainment. Theyyam is a serious ritual. When a Theyyam is presented, lakhs of rupees, even now, my son-in-law is belong to one of the Theyyam sponsors' family. They have to spend every 2 years something like 10 lakhs for conducting their family Theyyam. Why they are conducting? Because they believe in it. There is no abhinaya in ritual. If a Theyyam performer says, I was acting, finish, his career is finished. Next time you will not call him. Because we don't want acting. We don't want exactly going into trance. Because our purpose is that. Nobody is bothered about what text they are singing. Their only botheration, thousands of people come to witness the presence of an ancestor, become deified, and all these things. That is, we can say, Anushthanam. I am very much scared of using English term. English term never suitable to our Indian theatre. Even for acting, when I say acting, and when we say Abhinaya and acting is one, no, absolutely different. Abhinaya is Angika, Vajika, Aharya and Satika. It's a whole universe. Angika is so rich in India. Even from the age of 19, I was trying to notate the mudras of Kerala art forms. It comes to 2000. What about the other states? Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra. All have different concept of this thing. So many treatises written. So that is Angika on mudra and other technique. Vajika is also same. Aharya is so different, so varieties of Aharya makeup. Satika also very deep in India. How can you say acting and Abhinaya as one? So these are the things. And Kudiyatam is a Natya. The only Natya surviving in the whole world, I can say. Natya is theatre. We have several plays. It is authentically presented. Authentically in the sense that when they got the plays of Bhasa, they thought that it should be, Kerala, our ancestors thought that it should be presented. Plays not only for reading. So they thought of developing a technique with the looking around all the ritualistic and other forms. They took elements. Always performing arts, artistic performances, always take elements from the ritual. A ritual also take elements from the art to make the ritual more attractive. But these two are absolutely different. It is only few elements become like a ritual, like a Kabali or Anguliyangam, because that is also part of the survival of the art. The best example in this is Krishnatam. Krishnatam, there is only one group, that is in Guruvayur. But some 75 years or 80 years back, that was not performed in Guruvayur temple as a regular thing. It was Kozhikode Samudri's property in the palace. Because they cannot keep that troop, it is very expensive. They requested Krishnatam to be preserved by the temple. Some clever member of Guruvayur temple at that time, they thought that, okay, we can make it as a reward. So that really affected this thing. Successful because they said, propagated that Avadaram is for child and Swayamvaram is for marriage. So many thousands of offerings are coming. So they have a very good income. The artists, they can pay the salary only from the performances. That way, it is a very good step taken, but that's not a ritual as such. It is also an art form. Krishnagiri is written in a highly artistic way. Of course, Theyyam, Udiyettu, and all these art forms, so many art forms. Some 300 art forms of Kerala are rituals. And so many things are artistic performances come under the category of Natya and the folk and so many varieties. This is my humble opinion about the classification of art, which is very important. We are not supposed to follow the foreigners. Why I am publishing books? I am not qualified enough to write a book. Almost all my books are also published in English. Why I do this? Because once I was invited by American Institute of Indian Studies. I was attending a seminar related to Kudiyattam. In the bibliography, I find that all the books they have referred is all written by American or German scholars. I felt really ashamed. I thought, no, this should not be allowed. So I'm not at all good in English, but I made my work, translated in English, and started publishing. You know, people like us, we are not that very good known authors or anything. So our books are not taken by the commercial publishers. So I started publishing from my own little resource. I spent every year part of my income on publishing. Even now it is happening. That is the kind of work.
Yes, of course, we have got a limitation of time. And so, I mean, before going to the question about the relevance of a film festival, which is named as a Mila Folklore Film Festival of India, still, I think there was a little bit of a lack of clarity. Of course, you have already explained. Still, should there be a compartmentalization or segregation between, let's say, various art forms? I mean, we tend to classify some as traditional art forms and some as folk art forms. Whether is it correct to, classify them as two entities, or whether ultimately is it only one art is one, because it's performed more often than not, the performers will be common folks in whatever art form or ritual, whatever it is. So is there any relevance in this demarcation or segregation? Just to more elaborate on that particular point further.
Actually, our National Academy doesn't have any proper approach to all these art forms. Even now, Kudiyattam is categorized in together with the mime and other traditional forms. They don't consider this as Natya. because it is typically makeup is different from other part of India and all. They even some traditional they say, but it is not with the proper respect. I was a member there one time, but I fought, but not possible to change. Because people come, chairman, secretary, and all, they are the people to take decisions. So it's very unfortunate. We have to now find our own way of looking into all the art forms. I don't believe in folk, classical, and all these kind of divisions. All are traditional, we can say. Everything is traditional because it's a continuity. Tradition doesn't mean that only family member. That's also another thing. Certain forms are based on caste, but talent never come with the caste. This is my own experience because Guruji, when I started Kudiyattam school, Guruji said that I can't even thinking of taking other caste members to train. So for some time I followed this. Then afterwards we don't get any students from traditional community. Nobody want to learn Kudiyattam. So we started taking some people from outside. The outsiders are more talented. They have more respect for the art than the traditional boys and girls. In every art form, it is like the Torbakutu also said. Those who train from outside, they are so brilliant. So talent never comes from the tradition, family tradition. If they have, the child is attracted, then the creativity gradually come into through him. So it is very high time that we have to think of this. Not only we have to think, but we have to make the authorities, the so-called, in India, so far there is no that kind of approach. Tagore was great, Rabindranath Tagore. He knew everything. His approach to everything was highly ideal. But after him, everything is over. And Rukmini Amma was wonderful. She understood what is Bharatanatyam and she made so many, the art form which was absolutely in a state of degeneration. She brought it as one of the world's most popular art form. Very great. Vallathol Mahagavi was great. He made Kathakali to a certain extent, but I don't say completely. When I think of Kathakali, so many injustice done, which I don't want to spend time now because so it is, we have to think of so many things about the Kerala, the approach to Kerala culture. Just a few things about Kathakali. You are having an institution, you are selecting boys to learn Kathakali. Immediately after the selection, you say they go out. It's a crime, I say. You have to employ him the next day when he has completed his course. I saw this in China. China, the Beijing Opera training. They take only talented students. They make so many tests and then select only talented students, very talented. The moment they complete the course, immediately they are accommodated in a performing center. Immediately, next day. And they train only that much people. Not sending away. That is really, let's say, this COVID pandemic days, the most neglected people were performing artists. They survive only with the performance fee which they receive it. Even very eminent artists, they were in utter poverty. So many problems come with that. How can you say, mostly from poor community, these students come. When they are sent back to the village, what they will do alone. And there are no attempts to make them known to the world. You have big youth festivals for the school. Who are the people taking part? Very amateur school children for getting some other, kind of benefits. They come and take part in this thing. Their media is giving focus. In my lifetime, I have not seen a single effort of Kerala Kalamandalam or any such institutions, professional training institutions, any attempt to make their young students come prominently. You have to, when by the time they complete the course, you have to make them stars. That much you have to get them promoted. I did this, that's why I'm telling you, in a very small level. My students, when I run this, now I am not involved in it, the Gurukulam training. When we started, first of all, we decided that 15 years training period. During the training, we have continuous performing opportunities given, and we force the media to cover them. So all these students like Usha and this and Kapila, when they all got trained, they already become very famous. I think that should be the attitude. So many things have to change now. So that's what I feel.
Yes, it's true that economic stability is required for the artists to pursue their profession, or we have to provide that stability. It's undeniable. And so you basically you mean to say that like in a state like Kerala, we have got this Sangeet Natak Academy, there is another Folklore Academy. So this multiple institutions may not hold much relevance maybe. So everything should be one concerted or joined this thing. Yes, so we are almost running out of time. So let me just reiterate the question which I asked about the Nila International Folklore Film Festival. What relevance do you envisage in this, or would you? I mean, how would you support us in taking it further, and how effective it should be in at least in placing before or making it known before a wider audience, the cinematic chronicling of these art forms?
Anyway, cinema is a reality. Film is a reality which can go, which can take the art to all over the world if it is properly produced. So any attempt to propagate the genuine art through the media, film is a very good kind of thing where we can really promote the art form. But that is not enough. Of course, I know Wiley is doing a lot of work. I have great respect for all these people. But performance opportunities should come to the artist. It is possible if some people are dedicated in organizing, and it is very difficult. Of course, folk artists, dealing with the folk artists, folk art forms, very difficult. I spent 15 years of my life only for this, and without any support, without anything, and I think so much of my energy I spend on promoting all these art forms. I know how difficult it is for the artist to survive. So any attempt, the film festival based on this kind of thing, it's a wonderful thing. I always support and I always appreciate this.
Yeah, thank you. And before we wind up, let me ask a question. No art form can survive without audience or spectators. And I mean, a knowledgeable or audience which can appreciate or identify and communicate with the art form. So such a audience is absolutely essential. And since you have traveled almost all parts of the globe, what is your take about the response of the spectator or audience to these performances? both in India and or other states of India, in Kerala, as also abroad?
Yeah, first of all, Kerala is not giving any space for performance, real performance. The only organization now using folk is the tourism department, and they're killing folk forms, I should say. I already, by mistake, they invited me to inaugurate a folk festival of a tourism department. When I went to the green room, I was shocked. Because Padani was the first item, plastic Padani mask, and one Pandam torch. What is this? I conducted several Padani workshops and festivals. You know, the making of the mask with the arecanut, this thing, Pala is considered to be a great art. All Ganagan sitting in. That itself is a great learning for the children, and you have to make use of all these things. So this is what's happening. So all the art forms, now if it continue for another decade, nobody will come to see folk art, because all tourism department spoiled everything, every charm of everything. And little bit 5 minutes Padani, 5 minutes Tayyam. What is this nonsense? I don't agree with all this kind of promotion. You have to do justice to that, and you have to make them creative. Within the folk and within this, it is not the same thing repeated. Always creative. They are always creative. And they make themselves so many wonderful things. Kakarishi Nadagam was completely gone. After I take up, I could bring such a kind of response from the public those days. But I couldn't work for further, because then the artist spoiled it again. Because some of them went to the tourism department and this and that, and then again half an hour for Kakarishi and all this. Gone. Charm is gone. So this, we have to be very careful, and first of all, as far as Kerala is concerned, Kathakali is the most important art form. We do not have a single space in Kerala where we can present a proper Kathakali. We are using the same auditoriums. So according to the, when we put Kathakali in the proscenium, finish, whole Kathakali is changing. So it is a responsibility of the cultural authority to create space for all these important art forms. There are only 2 Kootambalams available, newly constructed outside the temple. Both are not Kootambalams. Of course, Trivandrum Kootambalam is better. Trivandrum Kootambalam is absolutely, I don't agree with that. Because the corridor spoiled the concentration. There is no acoustic perfection. What is that? Seeing is good. It doesn't function as a Kootambalam. So that kind of seriousness, we don't have it. In Japan, if you go, you find every city is having a no theatre, newly constructed, with all the modern facility and traditional infrastructure. So we have to now think seriously how to deal with our art form. Otherwise, in a few years, now I'm so sad about the future of Kudiyattam. One generation trained by us here, about 7 artists, they are very good. But what about the other people? It's very difficult in this way to preserve any art form. This is my opinion.
No, but I think you were sounding pessimistic, but what I would like to feel or share is that I think we can be a bit more optimistic, in the sense that now there are lecture demonstrations. While a performance is going on, you can give the subtitles, as also we can distribute pamphlets detailing or explaining the storyline, what is happening. So that way, I think it will be more effective in communicating the particular art form to the audience, and the audience get to know of it more. And even in the presentation, mode of presentation and all that, while in the, say, a Kudiyattam performance 50 years ago, most of it used to be a mechanical thing, as an offering in a temple to the deity and all that. Now there is a lot of element of vibrancy which has come into it, I think. So let's be hopeful that this is a wonderful art form, not only Kudiyattam, but other art forms also will get to prosper and get into the minds of the people, despite the tourism department or other governmental or bureaucratic interventions, I think.
You know, everything, money is a factor, funding. Otherwise, we cannot pay properly to the artist.
Mhm.
When we promote an art form, you have to see that they are sufficiently paid, sufficient income coming for their survival. Now the cost of living is going very high. So public initiatives, of course, I appreciate very much. So many organizations in Kerala working their own effort, but they cannot, that is not enough for the survival of an artist. That will come only if a systematic kind of promotion partly come from government also. As I told you, that once you are trained, several years of hard training, you cannot just throw them out. I still remember one of the secretaries of Kerala Kalamand, I don't want to name, in his speech, I protested at that time. He was saying that now our great enemies are our former students. Kalamanda secretary says. He says they are all now settling around Kalamandalam and getting all the performances for themselves. It is supposed to be coming to Kalamandalam before. You should be proud of your students staying around and at least making a living out of it. This is the attitude. They think that when they become chairman or secretary, they think that it is their world. Only when you become somehow become with all the influence, an artist in a government institution, you think that it is your life.
Yes, I think still, despite all such personalities, all these art forms, it will survive for the coming generation also. And I think since the clock is ticking away, I think we will have to wind up this discussion. But so we would definitely like to have you interact with us, maybe in Malayalam, maybe after this festival. For our local audience, we would like to have a detailed interaction, and please, so we are really delighted to have with you, and from the core of our heart, we thank you for sparing your time, Bernard.
Really, I am very much afraid of coming into any interactive sessions, because when we say sincerely, we have to outspoke so many things which may not be of good. This thing. I cannot, this age, I'm 77 years old man. In all these years I was working, I have no patience. I'm very angry inside.
No, still you can't conceal your vast experience. In fact, you should impart your all these rich legacy and experience to the others and all those, future generations. So, yeah, immediately following, okay, please, yeah.
I always try to encourage young people to come into the art form. Now, after this COVID pandemic time, I felt this is not the way at all. The government is totally failed. Artists are the community which are totally neglected. Nobody bothered. A very famous singer came recently to me, Kathakali singer. And when I heard his condition, I really felt very ashamed of this. It will not happen. I saw in South Korea, I saw in many other countries, artists are safe. Japan is the best example. China, even China. All other countries artists are safe except Indian artists. In India, there is no security for artists. If you have extremely talented, if you are very talented, then you can survive. Always no.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I'm happy.
Yeah. Thank you for being with us. In fact, from 9 p.m. onwards, we will be showing the Pavak Kathakali, a film made by Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts and conceptualized by Venuji. So once again, on behalf of NIFI, we are really grateful to you for being with us and enlightening and with your words of wisdom and throwing light on this on various aspects related to it. Thank you so much. Thank you.